Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Riya Gandhi and today's video is episode 4 of the lecture series on UGC NET English exam. I hope you're finding this lecture series informative and helpful for your preparation journey. This video is exclusively for Roland Barthes. I'm covering his life and some of the most important concepts, including his work, The Death of the Author, and other frequently asked concepts in UGC NET English exam. Stay tuned till the end of this video because I'll also be covering a PYQ session related to Roland Barthes and his concepts. Friends, let us first begin our understanding of Roland Barthes' key concepts from UGC NET point of view by first understanding who is Roland Barthes. Roland Barthes is a renowned French essayist, writer, critic, scholar, and a semiotician. In most of his works, you will find that he has questioned popular culture. Why? Because he wanted to demythologize the power of consumerism. He believed that consumerism is more of a superficial culture, and that is why he targeted a lot of times the advertisements, and in that he dissected the advertisements for soap detergents. Now, when we are talking about Roland Barthes, why he is such an interesting figure, he is an interesting figure because he is somewhere in between structuralism and post-structuralism. His works, they imbibe the ideas of both. We all know that structuralism is a study of linguistic signs present within the text or outside the text and how they create meaning with each other. And the main figure associated with structuralism is Ferdinand de Saussure. How does Roland Barthes come in here? So Roland Barthes took this idea of structuralism one step further, and he talked about how these signs create meaning within specific socio-cultural and historical contexts. That is why Roland Barthes has focused so much upon popular culture, consumer culture, and especially French bourgeois culture. His earlier structuralist thought was effectively captured in the essay Introduction to the Structural Analysis of Narrative that was initially published in 1966. Now, what does Roland Barthes really talk about in this particular essay? He begins by stating the fact that in the world that we are living in, or any text that we are reading, there is a multitude of narratives. So there has to be a common narrative structure through which we can compare certain narratives with other narratives also. So he divides this particular essay into 5 sections, and he talks about how even a basic sentence also has a narrative structure that you can correlate with a larger narrative structure. So he divides it into 3 levels that can be arranged in a hierarchy. The first level is the function. Now, what does he mean when he say function? Function is basically a functional element of a particular unit, which basically means that when you're talking or when you're reading a particular story and when a character buys a revolver, what is the function of that revolver? We are definitely going to think that maybe he is going to use that revolver later in the story. Then he moves towards the action. Basically, the sequence of a particular story and how when you understand the action, you'd be best able to describe the characters. And then finally, he's talking about the narrative. He's focusing upon the relationship between the narrator and the reader. But then he also understands that there are certain limits to this structuralist thought. And he best understands it when he goes on a trip to Japan and he realizes that in Japanese culture and arts, they don't need to find the transcendental signified. That is, they are not in the search for the ultimate meaning. And that's when he publishes one of his most groundbreaking works, which is The Death of the Author. It is a best known work that was published in 1967. It is often considered to be a transitional piece between structuralism moving towards post-structuralism. In this particular essay, he has basically rejected the authorial authority. Now, what do we mean by the authorial authority? Basically, in the traditional literary criticism, we often considered the biography of the author, the past experiences of the author, and considering them to be the reference points for our analysis of a particular text. For years and years, we have focused upon what the author intended to say in a particular text, but now it is the time to know what the reader interprets from the text, how the reader creates meaning from the text. And there is no one single reader of the text, correct? There are multiple readers of a singular text, which means that there will be multiple meanings of the text. And that is why he says that the birth of the reader must be at the cost of the death of the author. One of the most famous books of Roland Barthes is SZ, that was published in 1970. In this particular book, he has practiced the critical reading of Honoré de Balzac's novella Sarrasine. In this particular book, he has tried to find a common narrative structure to analyze a particular text. In this particular book, he identified 561 units of meaning, and he called these units of meaning as lecture. Now, what is a lecture? A lecture is a unit of text that can remain unbiased. That means the common narrative segments or the units that we find in any story. And that has resulted into 5 narrative codes of Roland Barthes, which are extremely popular and are frequently asked in UGC NET English exam. So, what are these 5 narrative codes? So, let's understand it in a very interesting manner by taking the example of Harry Potter. So, the first code is the prohieratic code, correct? Prohieratic code basically means that the actions are happening in a sequential manner. Right? So what happens after this? What happens after that? It is basically prohieratic code. In the Harry Potter series, basically in the very first movie, when Hagrid comes to take Harry Potter to the Hogwarts school, we are very intrigued by what is this Hogwarts school? Where is Harry going? What is going to happen there? Right? That is basically prohieratic code, wherein certain actions, certain sequences, they create a sense of suspense. They create a sense of mystery. That is prohieratic code. Next code is the hermeneutic code. Hermeneutic code basically refers to the intentional withholding of information, which is also called as authorial reticence. Now, understanding hermeneutic code through Harry Potter series. So, in the entire Harry Potter series, we don't know until the very end that what is this correlation between Harry Potter and Voldemort? Why is Voldemort continuously targeting Harry Potter? Why is Snape in this particular manner? Right? So towards the very end, we realize that, okay, it was because of so and so reason that Voldemort was targeting Harry Potter. This is basically hermeneutic code. You see hermeneutic code being employed in a lot of detective stories, in a lot of horror stories, and it's only towards the end that the mystery is solved. Moving on to the cultural code. Cultural code basically involves where the author has introduced certain elements in the story that rely on your cultural and social knowledge. So for example, in Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling has used a lot of mythological creatures like the phoenixes and the three-headed dog that are borrowed from Western mythology. Now, as Indian readers and as an Indian audience, we may not understand it directly. We might require prior knowledge or a prior reading to it. But then for the Western audience, for the Western readers, it will become very easy to understand where are these creatures or the mythological figures taken from. So that is cultural code for you. Then comes the semantic code. When I'm talking about the semantic code, it's basically focusing upon that extra element or the extra feature added to the character to reinforce their characteristics. For example, in the Harry Potter series, the main feature that I can talk about is the scar on Harry's face. It emphasizes, it reinforces the very notion that Harry is the chosen one. It reinforces the very fact that something is going to happen related to the scar, that there is a story behind that scar. That is basically the semantic code. And finally, the symbolic code, which a lot of people find difficulty to understand in, but I'm going to make it easier for you to understand. What is symbolic code? Symbolic code is wherein the author uses certain thematic and structural devices to create antithetical ideas. Basically, the binary opposites. The binary opposite of good versus evil. How that happens in Harry Potter? The best example that I can give you is the Dementors. Now, the Dementors are those dark creatures who are cloaked with certain things, and they try to pull out the soul of a particular individual. They leave that particular person cold, unhappy, depressed, and the only way to beat them is through the charm of expecto patronum. And that charm will only work when the characters revive a happy memory in their mind. And that's how the symbolic code works. It works upon the antithetical ideas of the Dementor's case and the happy memory of the expecto patronum. Apart from these 5 narrative codes and his essay of the death of the author, there are certain concepts provided by Roland Barthes which are frequently asked in UGC NET English exam. Now, what are these concepts? The first concept is the difference between the readerly text and the writerly text, which appeared in his book SZ. Now, what does he mean when he says readerly text? It is basically a text that makes no demands on the reader to assume something, which basically means that the meaning is already provided to the reader. The meaning is ready-made. So as a reader, you don't have to interpret anything. You become a passive recipient of meaning. On the other hand, writerly text basically means that you are no longer a consumer of the meaning. Rather, you are a producer of the meaning as well as the text. It's based upon your notions, your interpretations that you are going to create a meaning for the text. As a reader, you are actively interacting with cultures and texts, and you are no longer a passive recipient of the meaning. His next important concept is the difference between work and text that appeared in the essay From Work to Text in 1971. According to Roland Barthes, work is a physical object that occupies shelf space. It is something that is carried in the hand. Then what is a text? A text is a linguistic process. It's something that is more dynamic. That is, when you're reading a particular text, you are engaging with it. You are actively engaging with whatever the author has tried to say. It is a process, which means that it leads to the plurality of meanings. It leads to the multiplicity of meanings. Now, apart from these works and concepts, other important works of Roland Barthes are Writing Degree Zero, which was actually his first book, published in 1953, Mythologies, that was published in 1957, in which he has basically criticized and dissected the French bourgeois society, and his last work was Camera Lucida. Apart from talking about culture, consumerism, language, he has also focused upon the nature of photography, and that is captured in his last work, which is Camera Lucida. Now that you have a very comprehensive idea of Roland Barthes' lives, his key concepts, the essay Death of the Author, and his associations with structuralist thought, let's focus upon why he is important from UGC NET point of view. Every year, you will find that at least one question will be asked related to Roland Barthes. Questions like, Roland Barthes in his introduction to the structural analysis of narrative proposed 3 levels of narrative structure. Which among the following are the narrative structures proposed by him? The first is function, second is action, the third is narration. Moving on to the next question. According to Roland Barthes, which of the following codes are common to all narratives? And that is prohieratic code, hermeneutic code, symbolic code, semic code. Which one did we not discuss and is not there? Synthetic code. Now, moving on to the next question. What are the points of convergence between Derrida and Barthes? Friends, we know that Jacques Derrida is largely associated with the post-structuralist thought, and so is Barthes after the death of the author. So, what are certain points that are common to both? Both believe in the endless play in language and literary text. Yes or no? Yes. Both conclude that the meaning of the text is not final. Yes. Both construe that language has a retrospective power. Barthes hasn't really talked about that. They believe that no meaning is reliable. That's true because there is unfinalizability of meaning. And they believe that the relationship between words, meanings, and texts are intrinsic to meaning rather than the word itself. Absolutely correct. So the right answers are A, B, D, and E. Moving on to the last question for today's video. What among the following are written by Roland Barthes? We just discussed that Mythologies has been written by Roland Barthes. Which is the other work? Type that out in the comment section below.
These were some of the most important concepts that are frequently asked in UGC NET English exam related to Roland Barthes. Apart from Roland Barthes, other important thinkers and critiques associated with structuralism and especially post-structuralism are Jacques Derrida, Ferdinand de Saussure, and also Michel Foucault. If you want to understand structuralism, post-structuralism, and other important literary theories from UGC NET point of view, don't worry, I've got you covered. I have designed a 1-hour special class for you guys in which I have covered all the literary theories, their major works, the major concepts associated with these theories in a very simplified manner. This 1-hour class will help you create a foundation for your literary criticism. After this 1-hour class, you will have a clearer idea as to what you should focus upon the most, what work should you go through in detail before you appear for your UGC NET English exam. You can check out this special course on my TopMate page, which is topmate.io/Riya Gandhi. You can just click on the Literary Criticism Simplified course and register your slot by clicking on the timings as per your schedule and convenience. That's it for today's video, folks. If you found this video on Roland Barthes informative and helpful, please like it and share it with other UGC NET aspirants as well. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any videos that I will be uploading on such important figures, concepts, and works in the future from UGC NET point of view. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next one.